Hey guys, Pitmaster here. I just got a quick little blog I want to do because I love getting quick little blogs that I can learn things from other people, whether they're my mentor, peer, or even student. A lot of times I can watch a video and learn something, read something, or even, talk to someone and learn something new. So as martial artists and instructors, we're always learning. So I'm going to throw a couple things out there. When you're teaching, don't ever treat your students the same and or expect the same from each student. I'll give you an example. I had Chuck Liddell, and he was going for his black belt, and he was training in my classes. And then I had a 60-year-old college professor who taught philosophy. They both made it to black belt, but I couldn't have trained them the same and expected the same from them. Okay? I couldn't compare them, either one of them, to me or each other because they were different. But it doesn't mean I went easier on the college professor than I did on the, eventual UFC superstar legend. I pushed that college professor to his limit, just like I pushed Chuck Liddell to his limit. Okay, you push everybody to their own limit, not anyone else's. There should be some set standards for certain things, but like when they're sparring and doing subjective things, you need to realize that they're not all the same. They can't be treated or trained the same. You can't compare them to you, or you can't compare them to anyone else in class. So each person is different than the other. So you need to train them that way. And that's one thing about being a good trainer or coach. Even when I'm training my fighters, I can't train them the same because one guy might be having a bad day. One guy has a fight coming up in a week. So they each have to be trained differently. There are certain standards that everyone has to abide by and adhere to, but when training them on subjective stuff like sparring and just how they look overall, everyone's different. Treat everyone differently and train them differently, but give them the same standards, if that makes sense. Okay? I hope it did. I think it did. It made sense to me. Number 2, don't ever forget their dreams. And that's why they're there at your gym paying you. So they all have dreams, whether it's go to black belt or whether it's to lose 50 pounds or whether it's because they want to stay safe on the street. Remember those dreams when they're training. And don't forget it. And remember, you had dreams when you were training and you were in their shoes as well. Like, before Chuck started fighting and we knew he wanted to fight, I trained him differently. And I always remembered he wants to be a champion in fighting. And then there's the philosophy professor. I mean, he's 60 years old. He just wanted to get his black belt and get in great shape and be able to defend himself. So I didn't forget those two dreams of each student while I was training them. That's hard. That's kind of hard to do when you have 30 guys in the room and you're training them all. But that's your freaking job. That's what you're getting paid for, and that's why you're there. So don't forget, all of your students have dreams, and you got to train them accordingly. Okay? Now, here's what you do. Those other 2 things are things you don't do. Always put yourself in their shoes. Like, remember when you were there in their place and train them accordingly. Always be empathetic. I'm probably one of the most empathetic guys I know because I'm always putting myself in other people's shoes, literally, and then I steal their shoes. I'm joking. But always try to put yourself in other people's shoes when you're teaching them. Okay? Like if you just had a really hard sparring session and then 10 minutes later you're doing something else, remember this guy, maybe he just got beat up. Put yourself in his shoes. Okay? Push all your students to their max, not yours and not anyone else's. And here I'm going to use the Chuck and Professor Joe example again. I pushed Chuck to his max when he was sparring and stuff like that, and then I would push Professor Joe to his max. Now, there are some things that you should be standardized. Like some of the techniques should be standard. Some of the basic PT requirements should be standardized. But subjectively, everybody's different, and treat them you push them to their max, not yours or anyone else's. Like some of my really younger, top shape students, I can't push them to my max because my max is much lower than theirs. So I'd be doing them a disservice. And then some guys, I'm a lot in better shape than them, so I don't expect them to do as much as I can. Expect them to do as much as they can. Okay? Another thing, remember your early classes. Okay? Remember when you first started, and always try to put yourself in those people's shoes that way. Like remember when you first started training. I try to do that with the kids classes and the adult classes. When I was an adult, I was remembering what it meant to be training. And when I was a kid, I remember what it meant to be training and try to remember, go back to that. Okay, and the last thing is, and I get this from Sensei Kovar, Dave Kovar, and it's really important, make each class you teach the best class ever. Okay, very good advice from Dave Kovar, and I abide by that, and I try to have my instructors abide by it too. Make every class your best class. All right, thanks for coming, guys, and I will see you. I don't know, see you around. I'm here.